Imagine, if you will, the fragile art of the human heart, an intricate tapestry woven with threads of love, fear, and vulnerability. It is within this delicate dance of emotions that we find ourselves today, exploring the curious case of when avoidants fear they're losing you. Ah, the avoidant, a master of evasion, a virtuoso of the emotional disappearing act. But what happens when their tightly held facade begins to crumble? What secret panic signs emerge from the shadows? Sit with me as we delve into this fascinating narrative, dancing between the subtle and the obvious, the known and the concealed. Picture a grand old estate, one of those sprawling mansions with creaky floorboards and ivy-clad walls. Inside, the avoidant heart is much like this house. You stroll through its corridors, and you'll find many rooms locked, doors sealed with invisible chains. The avoidant, you see, has spent a lifetime mastering the art of self-preservation, keeping others at arm's length, all in a bid to protect those innermost chambers. But when the winds of change rustle, when they sense they might be losing you, these doors begin to tremble, ever so slightly. Ah, fear. It's a powerful thing, isn't it? It has a way of sneaking in through the tiniest of cracks, like a whisper in the night. Allow me to take you to a time when I was a young actor, navigating the tempestuous world of theater. There was a fellow thespian, a remarkable talent with an enigmatic presence. He was the quintessential avoidant, always the first to leave a gathering, a master of the elusive goodbye. Yet, in the throes of rehearsal, when the fear of losing the role of a lifetime loomed large over him, I witnessed a transformation. His eyes, usually so guarded, betrayed a flicker of vulnerability. His hands, once steady, began to tremble at the edges. It was as if the very essence of his being was caught in a silent storm. This, dear friends, is the fear of losing something precious, a fear that even the most stoic cannot hide forever. When avoidants fear they're losing you, their world is turned upside down. Suddenly, the fortress they built so meticulously feels like a prison, and the guard they placed at the gate seems more like a jailer. You might notice a change in their tone, a softness that wasn't there before. Conversations once peppered with aloofness may now carry an undercurrent of urgency. They might reach out unexpectedly, under the guise of a casual check-in, probing for reassurance in the subtlest of ways. It's like watching a cat, with all its elegance and mystery, suddenly thrown into a pool of water. There's a flurry of movement, a scramble for balance, and an attempt to maintain an air of dignity amidst the chaos. Ah, but the signs, they are often cloaked in ambiguity. Take, for instance, the sudden interest in activities they previously dismissed. Perhaps you've always been a lover of weekend hikes, while they preferred the solitude of a quiet afternoon indoors. Yet now, they propose a trek up a mountainside, their motives as transparent as a cloudy day. It's their way of inching closer, without admitting the fear that propels them. This, my dear viewer, is a dance as old as time itself, a delicate pas de deux between yearning and resistance. Let us not forget the power of stories in revealing truths about ourselves. There once was a man who lived in a quaint village, known for his reclusive nature. He built a life of solitude, content with the company of his books and the rustling leaves outside his window. One day, a traveler happened upon his abode, bringing tales of the world beyond the hills. The man, intrigued yet wary, kept his distance. But as the traveler prepared to leave, taking with them the promise of new adventures, the man found himself pacing the length of his small cottage, heart pounding with an unfamiliar urgency. It was in that moment he realized the depth of his own fear, the fear of losing a connection he never knew he craved. So it is with avoidants. Their panic, though often silent, is palpable. It manifests in dreams that linger long after waking, in songs that suddenly resonate with poignant clarity. They might find themselves drawn to the familiar comforts of your shared past, reminiscing over old photographs, replaying conversations in their minds, seeking solace in the echoes of laughter. They are, in essence, like a child at the seashore, watching as the tide threatens to wash away their sandcastle, desperately wishing they could hold back the ocean. And yet, there is wisdom in this fear. It serves as a reminder that beneath the armor of indifference lies a heart capable of profound feeling. It's a signpost pointing towards growth, a chance to confront the very thing they have spent a lifetime avoiding. Yes, my friends, when avoidants fear they're losing you, it is both a moment of panic and a moment of potential transformation. In the grand theater of life, we all play our parts. Some of us are cast as the open-hearted, while others take on the role of the guarded. But regardless of the role, the underlying script remains the same: a quest for connection, a longing to be understood. So the next time you find yourself in the company of an avoidant who seems to be unraveling at the seams, remember this: beneath the surface, they are grappling with the same fears that shape us all. Ah, the human condition. Such a splendid tapestry of contradictions and complexities. It is in these moments of vulnerability that we find our most authentic selves. And so, I leave you with this thought. Be gentle with the avoidant souls in your life. When they fear they're losing you, it is not a sign of weakness, but rather an acknowledgement of their own humanity. And in that acknowledgement lies the possibility of a deeper, more meaningful connection. A connection that transcends fear and embraces the full spectrum of the human experience. In the end, dear viewer, it is not about the avoidance or the fear, but rather about the journey towards understanding and compassion. For in this journey, we discover that we are all, in our own ways, both the seeker and the sought, the lost and the found. And that, my friends, is the true beauty of the human heart.
If you believe this video might help someone dear to you, share it with them. A small gesture on your part could mean the world to a friend in need.